Hey, I'm here, and I'm not playing video games. No, we're working on Indigar, so let's do that. Hey everybody, Jordan here, the PH is Silent. Today on World Building Day 27. This is 30 days of world building. If you're new here, there's a link there, I think, and that link will take you to the beginning of a playlist of all 30 days of this exercise trying to build a tabletop RPG world. Today's exercise is plot hooks and nature and races and things that revere nature. We're gonna change up plot hooks and try to create storylines in between different factions and what have you. So if there's conflict in there, like if our players join one faction, or if they anger this other one might enjoy that. And so we're gonna have them pick sides, I think. So let's dive into Notion.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Indigar. Again, my name is Jordan, PH Silent. Let's just dive in. So you kind of know what I want to do today. If we go to our 30-day challenge, today's challenge in WebWriter is plot hooks. And it's kind of like build an outline and things. But rather than doing this, I wanted to look at the factions that I've created and create interlocking or just some connections. And then what I need to do to expand upon this is create a bunch of NPCs that are associated with these factions and how they interact with each other. So if I am, so I want to go factions. So if I'm creating, let's see. So if I'm creating tension, then a lot of these aren't going to get along. And so far we have the Quadrivium and we have the like the rebels or whatever, the Pentastrin or something. I forget what I name them. I don't even know. It's my world, whatever. But with those, is the monster hunting guild associated with the Quadrivium? Is this person? Is the cult of the yellow robe, the pact keepers, the whispering army, like all of these things that I've created, which now that I look at is not a lot. But I do have this factions here. What do I have? Quadrivium. So we have elves, we have dwarves, goblin uprising. We were talking about getting rid of the three sisters and then the dragon death lord, cult of the yellow robe, pact keepers, and whispering army. So instead of the court, we said the court of the three sisters, and I liked that one. And this was that they believed that thieves and murderers must be punished. So maybe this should be a power or a demi-human power that exists also within Indigar. But who is at odds with each other? And then the Whispering Army is an order of necromancers. Pentestra is an organization that goes against the Quadrivium. So another organization, we have Pact Keepers. I think now that we have that island, we need our theocracy government there. Getting some text messages. Let's go to locations. Kingdom of Cyanor. But I think the island itself was... Anyway, well, let's just dive in. So we have Kingdom of Cyanor. So what would be their faction name? Okay, so looking at this, the Gathering of Devotion, I think could be a special day. The Gathering of Devotion, like that's a day. But I like that we are the communion of the six gods. And we'll say that. So, faction, this is also not a deity, not a celestial, but yeah, faction. And we'll say, religious faction. The followers of the six gods. against the quadrivium. Order, or we'll say law. Law, knowledge, chaos, time, and death. So I got rid of the Grey Lords, and I think we're going to have each of these be lawful and chaotic. And then it's like you're both sides of the coin. Yeah, the kind of the idea I was going for. So then what would these individual ones be called, these factions? Okay, yeah, so if we do this, we can say the sect, I mean, this could be easy, like the sect of Norcia. Or I could say the sect of luck. And then ideally, I'd like them to be like, oh, I follow the path of not just the god's name, but like, it's like, oh, you believe in the gods. And you're like, yeah, I walk the trail of fate. I don't know, but we'll go with that. So Hecate will be knowledge and joy, oracles of Hecate, wealth and freedom, the church of Tulis, crafting and destruction, the followers of maybe the builders, I don't know, trust and deception, and then this could be cool, the Wanderers of Vanth or the Prythons of Vanth. And then Prython, I'll figure that out later, but yeah, I kind of like that. That's cool. Okay, so now I can kind of like which ones don't like which, and I think the law ones. And so I should go, if we go to Order of Hecate, notes here will be lawful. So Hecate, we'll say basically like allied with lawful followers, dislikes chaotic followers. Chaotic zealots? I don't know if that's a good word. Norcia is going to be chaos. Okay, so there's a connection there. I wanted to create a magic school within Domitica's domain. So we're going to go back to the name generator here. Okay, so I wrote down, I found actually quite a few good ones, but this is one I made up myself, the Star Helix. So we're going to call this organization the Star Helix, and it is the magical college, the Tower of Magical Studies. Yeah, we'll say works with Domitica in her cities to educate people on magic and find recruits for her experiments or to become pact keepers. So basically, if you're not super gifted with understanding of magic, then have we got a deal for you? And they send them off. And so they get to keep studying and practicing magic and furthering their research. And she gets more cannon fodder in a way. Okay, yeah, so the Star Helix. So we'll say the Star Helix doesn't like the gods, doesn't like the Pentestra, likes the Quadrivium, and hates the Whispering Armoring. But we'll also say they hate the Pact Keepers. And I don't think they would enjoy the Cult of the Yellow Robe either, because that's like chaos and whatever, and they're very, we got to do this, law and order kind of thing. The gods are love-hate relationship between them, but I think that kind of makes sense. The Pentestra and the Whispering Army are probably in cahoots. And for some reason, I keep thinking if you're a Pentestra, you're probably also a Pryphon of Vanth. That could be fun. Oh, and I have the Order of the Crimson Patrons. That's another thing. Maybe they're, I like this, a rogue group of warlocks who made pacts outside of Domitica's influence, became warlocks all on their own, or through their own devices. The Order of the Crimson Patrons. So yeah, instead of that, I kind of wanted to do that. I feel like I got it in my mind. I need to create a chart of who's linked to who, and I will do that soon. Up next was our 30-day world challenge. And today is, do any people of your world revere nature, and how deeply? And humans in this realm, to me, are always like, how do we control something? How do we dominate it? How do we make it work for us? And so humans have not been nature-loving people for a while. They're cutting down trees to build cities. They're not living with nature. And the elves have cities, and the dwarves have cities, but they're still like entrenched in nature. Like the dwarves they're still underground, and they're just kind of molding the stone to help them, but they're still part of that environment. And I think that the elves are the same way. Furbolg are very in tune with nature. And so I think it depends on the player character, but those people would have a more understanding of that. And then I think that always also coincides with magic. So if you understand the harmony of nature, there's a divine magic within that understanding. And that's where druids and rangers and bards who don't have a god that they necessarily worship to grant them power, but they have an innate sense of the world around them and the vibrations. And who knows, maybe, a bard could get their powers granted from a deity. And who knows, a bard could get their powers granted from a deity, or they could be very, I don't know. I understand the harmonics of the world around me. So we'll say elves, some dwarves, furbolgs, furbolg. And I think that's about like the races that would be tied to it. Mostly humans cut themselves away from nature because they see it as something to work for them, to better themselves, to better their position, and yeah, we'll just say position. So I like that. So yeah, okay. Well, everyone, that was our day 27. I need a big crazy board with pins, and I can draw connections and all this other stuff. I'll work on that today and tomorrow while the sun is still asleep. And I will see you guys tomorrow for day 28. Oh, lots of really cool stuff happening. Take care, be awesome, and I'll see you tomorrow.